It is a fundamental belief. I am my brother's keeper. I am my sister's keeper that makes this country work. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Some people are divided by religion. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Some people are divided by their greed, yeah. Some people are divided by deception, yeah. Oh, yeah. Some have a lot of money but still in need, yeah. The time has come to help your hurting brother. Time has come to think about your sister. Can't turn a blind eye to their need, yeah. Share some love to help your hurting brother. Share some love to help your fallen sister. One God, one faith, one destiny, yeah. It's time for unity, yeah. Deception is tumbling down, live in unity, yeah, yeah. Division must be broken down, unite in dignity, yeah. United under God we stand. Unity is power for all. Whoa, whoa, yeah. Well, everything around us is changing. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nothing will ever be the same, yeah. Limitless scope for transformation, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yet no one has the answer for the pain, yeah. Selfishness and greed have many blinded. Heartlessness has many people suffering. Why can't we see our brothers' pain, yeah? Children are hungry and they are crying. Mothers are hurting and they are sighing. Yet all we care about is gain, yeah. It's time for unity, yeah. Deception is tumbling down, live in unity, yeah, yeah. Division must be broken down, unite in dignity, yeah. United under God we stand. Unity is power for all. Stand for unity, yeah.
You have been watching the latest development, and you seem to be very unsure of what to do next. You know something is about to happen, but again, you simply keep watching without a clue as to what to do next. Wake up, my brothers and sisters. You must move now to save yourselves. You must move now to prepare yourselves for the peril ahead. To delay is to open yourself to serious trouble, and there will be no one to blame but you. Lifeline Financial Programs has always been telling you that things will get very serious very quickly if you do not move now to prepare for what is coming. Nothing will get better. We are on a downhill ride. You must get up and move now to save yourself. It is predicted that you will be having serious financial problems soon. Will you sit and wait until everything has crashed then say, if I had known? Find us today at Lifeline Financial Programs. We have the best plans to keep you alive during the trying times ahead. Mark my word. Don't wait until everything has fallen apart and you are running around like a chicken without a head. Find us at Lifeline Financial Programs today. We will help you find a way. Call us at 540-4555 or email us at lifelinebvlimited@gmail.com.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Greetings, greetings, greetings to all. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's another Monday evening, and of course, a new year, they say. Uh, we're not quite sure how new this year is. I guess time continues, yes? The seasons continue, and of course, as we move into the 21st century, I guess we will have quite a very interesting saga to behold. Uh, how we will deal with that is entirely up to us, and I hope we're making some very serious preparations. I keep saying that this year is going to be a very interesting year. Before we move into the program, as usual, I think it is customary for us to give thanks and to the earth where men dwell, to the streams of water, the pools and the lakes, to the maize and to the fruits, to the medicinal herbs and trees, to the forest trees for their usefulness, and to the animals that serve as food and give their pelts for clothing. To the great winds and the lesser winds, to the thunderers, to the sun, to the mighty warrior, to the moon, to the messengers of the Creator who reveals his wishes, and to the great Creator who dwells in the heavens above, who gives all the things useful to men, and who is the source and the ruler of health and life. To the great Creator and all things, we give thanks. This evening, we should be having quite a very interesting program. And of course, as the year rolls in, we must acknowledge the fact that many of our people have been experiencing some very interesting times. The year has begun. I'm seeing where St. Martin has rolled out their new spate of requirements to travel into that country. And when you read some of these things, you wonder if some people are sleeping when they write these rules. It's really crazy. But it ought to be understood that the agenda is on its way, and it's being rolled out in a way that there seems to be no breaking in the way the plans are set to happen. And as people watch all these things happening around them, and technically warming up to all these crazy things which are about to happen and have happened, my question to you would be, how prepared are you for the things which are yet to come? Not a joke at all, and we really need to brace ourselves in a way that makes sense, not just to us, but to our loved ones and those around us. This evening we have a very interesting guest, and as the first guest for the year, and I think it's absolutely very interesting that we're bringing our beloved brother to have a very serious talk about exactly what is happening around us, where we go, how we go, when we go. All of these things become very interesting as we examine the new developments. And I'm keeping it very basic, so we all can grasp the points as we move forward. Yes. On the raw truth, we don't use big words, so you miss it. You see a lot of big words flying over people's heads nowadays. You wonder what the hell they're saying. And it seems that most of our governments have become so accustomed to using fancy terms. We call it politically correct terms, if you want to put that in quotes. And most people don't have a clue what the hell they're saying. Yes? And this, I think, is one of our problems, because you're hearing a lot, but nothing seems to be making sense at all. And the average man on the street seems to be having a serious problem, even putting together in part some of what is happening. Quite interesting. We have our guest in the waiting room, and of course, we're going to take a short break. And when we come back, we will introduce him to you. So you stay put. We'll be back in a moment. To all our friends who are joining us, if you're just joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Raw Truth. And if you're in the States, Canada, England, the Caribbean region, wherever in the world you are, goodness gracious, I don't want to put myself in trouble because I know the audience is absolutely very huge. Thank you so much for joining us, and we welcome you to another episode of the Raw Truth. We have with us this evening a very interesting guest, and uh, we met unofficially, but yet we met. And it is a beautiful thing to be connecting with our brothers and our sisters across the Americas. And especially moving into this year, I think we have a greater job to do right here at PSI TV to feature the happenings with our people across the Americas as we move into the 21st century. My beloved brother, Dr. Anthony Rodriguez. Let me make sure I get that right. I want to get it right. Dr. Anthony Rodriguez. Greetings and honor, my brother. How are you doing?
Absolutely. Greetings. Doing extremely well, my brother. How are you doing?
Well, we're keeping our nose above the water. You know how that is. You know, if you're going to need to drown, you know, you have to keep your nose above it.
Absolutely.
How is it in your neck of the woods? Actually, you're in the St. Thomas area, right?
Yes. I was in the St. Thomas area, and I tell you, I've just been watching the New Year's coming. Happy New Year to you, my brother. This time in 2021, actually, I had made a prediction. I told my friends and guests and relatives, expect to see things that you've never seen before.
Huh.
And 2 days later, we had the first coup d'etat in the world took place in the United States of America, January the 6th, which is the anniversary is 2 days from now.
Huh.
You know, and I'm telling you, this year I've been trying to gauge what has happened for the past 12 months and trying to gauge where we are going down this road. So I hope to talk to you more about what I see is happening as we enter into this 2022.
Indeed. And, you know, my problem, my beloved brother, is the fact that I don't think many people are getting a grasp even to the degree that we really are relating to the magnitude of the shift. It is a little concerning, you know. It's regular for most people, and it's business as usual. And you know, as long as we can get a little food, we're watching TV, we can get us good sleep, jump up and get a little breakfast and run. That's it. No one is focusing on. I find it very interesting, yeah. And it's popping right before our faces, and it's just not happening at all for many people. Talk with us.
You know, that's an interesting statement you're making, because if you look at the all human needs, the basic human needs is, you know, for food, you know, shelter, companionship, and, you know, the ability to hopefully, you know, you move up in that arena. And, you know, some of us are seeking to realize greater things, and we like to self-actualize and to do things to help others. But the fundamental things that's in my vision is happening right now. This fundamental thing of food might become an issue because we just think it's regular. Just think of it, my brother. Let's think that we are in the Caribbean right now. You go to any of the 15 CARICOM countries and any of those who are just affiliated states in the CARICOM countries. We used to produce food. Just go into any food market and see where the food's coming from. And, you know, those things is simple, but those things could be great burdens if we are not prepared and not just taking it for granted, you know, willy-nilly, just going along thinking everything is going to be okay if we do nothing. And I don't think we have that luxury right now.
I was looking at it in Jamaica, for example, and I think Jamaica being maybe one of the greatest producers of many of the things that we find on the supermarket shelf, um, regionally. Uh, you watch Jamaica moving from a self-contained, i- well, uh, an economy where the farmer was king to what you call the free market system, which has killed the very farmers who were keeping the food on the shelves. You watch what is happening in St. Kitts or what happened there. Now, St. Kitts is like a football field. You look across the entire region, and the whole thing has shifted from what I would call self reliance to full blown dependence on the multilateral corporation, which, from what I'm seeing, from what I'm seeing right now, the control on basic food supplies, if our people are not checking themselves seriously across the Caribbean region, we're going to have a serious problem this year.
Well, absolutely. I think the Caribbean in general, if you look back to the early 1960s, laid out a plan of action whereby they were, in stepping one after next and gaining various levels of independence.
Yes.
Just within the past 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks, a lot of people didn't realize that Barbados declared an independent position in respect to this previous colonizer, Great
Yes.
Britain.
Yes.
Then a lot of people don't even know it. Jamaica, which has a proud history of self-determination. A lot of people doesn't know it, but Jamaica still have a directorate assigned by the English system that sits in office on the island of Jamaica. Just the same, though, the 50 nations that make CARICOM, I really think if they have to begin to view themselves as the power they have in numbers. If you remember, Dr. Eric Williams, like he said in the early 1960s, together there's so much power that exists in the Caribbean, but it's a CARICOM that realizes that power. Of course, though, that power has to be used in a certain way to benefit and uplift and promote all of the Caribbean. I mean, if, many of the previous leaders indicated, the Caribbean was able not just to feed itself, but to feed the world.
But look at this, sir. But look, you look at CARICOM, which should have been the hub,
right,
of development for the region, in a way that should have created an absolutely amazing unified region, to the point where the resources of the region could literally feed the world.
Absolutely.
CARICOM right now is a laugh. Absolutely one of the biggest jokes in the world. Yes?
Well, it's made itself into a conglomerate fashioned after the old world system. But what CARICOM may need to do and to look at is, how do we function in this new era, this 21st and 22nd century thinking and operational systems? I mean, are we going to wait to watch what this happens in the North Americas or in Europe to take guidance from them, or are we going to step back and do what's necessary to promote the Caribbean basin, those who are within it? One of the key things I think CARICOM have to even realize is the importance of all these nations, and really doing an assessment of the value of these nations, right, for the approximate 7 million persons in the CARICOM nations, and then try to come to the realization when things do go awry. Let's give an example. The Haitian prime minister was assassinated earlier last year, and not one voice I heard from a CARICOM as a union came out of the CARICOM union in response to what took place in Haiti. Haiti, a great nation that literally, without Haiti, there would be no United States of America. A great nation that set the roadmap for freedom of people of color and self-determination. But for that great nation has been punished and penalized on a continual basis. And what happens what has CARICOM in general have we done to recognize and to play our role in demonstrating to the world that we value positive change for the entire Caribbean and all the Caribbean countries? What are we doing? I mean, I recently I was listening to your show with the advocate for human rights who is hiding, who has a warrant or some type of strange thing against him in New York. Now, isn't that strange that there's a warrant for someone's arrest who is speaking up against injustice? Now, that's the type of world we're living in right now, though. So we have to be truly sensitive that what seems like it's correct and what seems like it's improper, there's a misalignment. And that takes me back to my initial statement. The coup d'etat that took place in America in January the 6th. That is a warning shot, not just for America. That's a warning shot for all of us here in all of these North Americans, that we have to take certain things. We can't take certain things for granted. Civil liberties, freedom of speech, issues of equity, these things that we know we can't go back and harbor in foolishness of complexions, who's brighter, who's lighter, straight hair. You know, these are foolish things that we almost seem like, it seems as though there's a posture of going back in this direction.
But let me ask you this, sir, because this would be my question. If it is that we have come, I mean, is it that the more civilized we become, the stupider we get?
Well, I think the more so as we've become, we have allowed voices that we normally wouldn't hear. I mean, we must realize now that technology is, like I said, what's good for the goose is also good for the gander. And the technology now has allowed a variety of voices, and every voice should be heard. But I think equally, reasonable minds must come together where sense is brought to the table. You said something in a previous show. You said it seems as though the people in the Caribbean, you said these are smart people, but it seems as though we are behaving like idiots, like we are behaving all through the Caribbean. We are acting as though we have no good sense. Example, just recently, I spoke to a young person who told me that about the COVID, he's not going to take a vaccine because it doesn't work. And I said, well, he explained it to me. He said, well, when we got smallpox, or someone got a vaccine, they never got smallpox again. You know, that's actually a false statement. The rate of smallpox was 95%. It's just that so we have a challenge before us. I mean, we have the communication waves where certain voices can come out. So sometimes we have to be able to decipher sense from nonsense. I mean, and not to proselytize your guests or your listeners, but you know, there's a verse in the Bible that tells everyone to study to make thyself approved.
Precisely.
So workman can precisely know, can sift the truth from the false, can sift the wheat from the chaff. I mean, and we have to really constantly do that. I mean, we have to constantly battle now at a higher level.
But I think we're living in denial, you know, my brother. I think we're seriously living in denial. I mean, you look at listen, the oligarchs are telling us exactly where we are. And this is the strangest part about it. They're not hiding. Right. Everything we need to know is being told us very plainly.
Right.
So,
well, listen, it's in your face. It's in your face what's happening right now. Therefore, you know, I've been thinking, what does it leave us in this 2022? You know, I know we have come through some things, but I really think it's going to take us here in the Caribbean nations, that where we have to return to consolidating, you have to return to coordinating, compromising, where we have to return to some of these principles for the collective peoples and the different nation groups in all of the Caribbean nations, including Guyana, including the South American countries. I really think right now there's a window, in my opinion, has been open for smaller nation states to rise up and probably be the example. Let me give you an example. Today, across the world, they said that this virus is going haywire, right? That's what's being said. Now, let's remember what happened 12 months ago. Do you know the nation that we all looked to for guidance was the United States of America? Yes. It didn't provide that guidance. What did we do? We did whatever we wanted to. So now everybody is an expert. It's no longer America can come and say, hey, look what we're doing. So there's no example. So right now there's a void. So rather than us in these Caribbean nations joining the foolishness, somebody has to stand up and say, here's how things can.
But let me listen. You're making a very serious point, because this is my question to you. We have myriads, miles of doctors and doctors and lawyers and all the highly learned people across the region. The Caribbean region has a full share of highly trained people. That's for one. You look at what is happening across the world. No one in the Caribbean region has come together and say, oh, no. Let us look at what is happening here and make some sense out of it. No one. And I'm saying, if we're watching what is happening while we fully grasp the concept that the world is shifting, the entire systems are changing, we know where we are. However, the region was built on some practical principles ever since we know ourselves. It's where we're coming from. And where we see people are losing their brain and not thinking clearly, is it that the Caribbean region is so engulfed in all of this to the point where we are also losing our brain, brother? Is this what is happening?
Well, I think some are actually losing, but I think there's a group of persons like yourself who is saying, it's like giving a warning shot. Hey, brothers and sisters, listen up. Things are not as they seem all the time, but use your common sense. Plain and simple. Just look around you, what's happening on an everyday and a daily basis. I mean, we have to promote, once again, we have to promote coordination, collaboration. We have to promote compromising. There is the value that we have learned as people of color throughout the Caribbean. I mean, we come from histories of suffering. We came from histories of pain, agony, but we also came from histories of surviving, figured it out. And we cannot survive if we continue down a pathway where we are joining in folly, for instance, where we are creating schisms between each other when this is not necessary. For example, why is it that if you travel to certain Caribbean countries, there's lack of resources, there's lack of tax base for basic needs, yet there's so much dollars? I mean, the lack of these things is primarily because of maybe avoiding leadership or avoiding vision, avoiding purpose. We have to get back to the days where, I remember the days when, you may remember these days, when the United Nations and National Monetary Fund was trying to force its will upon Caribbean nations. And we used to say, no, we're not going to do it that way. There was a thing, what we called produce our own products.
Yes.
Buy it locally.
Yes.
I mean, you remember the boats used to come from down the islands. And,
yes.
we knew how to do these things. But right now, why is it that you go to a market in any of the Caribbean countries and you check the products, where they're coming from? I mean, they're coming from 3,000 miles away. When they could come from?
But hold on, sir. But no, come on now. But look at this now. My question is it that the Caribbean region is as poor as they want us to think it is?
No.
When we have been sustaining ourselves among ourselves for decades. You think about that for a minute. And when we come back, I'm sure this is going to be a very interesting discussion we're having here with Dr. Rodrigues as we examine exactly what is happening right here in the Central Americas. We come right back in a minute.
You have been watching the latest development, and you seem to be very unsure of what to do next. You know something is about to happen, but again, you simply keep watching without a clue as to what to do next. Wake up, my brothers and sisters. You must move now to save yourselves. You must move now to prepare yourselves for the peril ahead. To delay is to open yourself to serious trouble, and there will be no one to blame but you. Lifeline Financial Programs has always been telling you that things will get very serious very quickly if you do not move now to prepare for what is coming. Nothing will get better. We are on a downhill ride. You must get up and move now to save yourself. It is predicted that you will be having serious financial problems soon. Will you sit and wait until everything has crashed then say, "If I had known"? Find us today at Lifeline Financial Programs. We have the best plans to keep you alive during the trying times ahead. Mark my word. Don't wait until everything has fallen apart and you are running around like a chicken without a head. Find us at Lifeline Financial Programs today. We will help you find a way. Call us at 540-4555 or email us at lifelinebvilimited@gmail.com.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Welcome back, and you're live here with us on The Raw Truth. I'm your host, Kenny G, as you have known, our Chief Pakalk Ingbe of the Oyata Nation. And of course, we continue to share with you some very interesting developments right here in the Central Americas as we continue to look at the developments among our people. Our guest tonight is, I call him the Honorable Dr. Rodrigues, and of course, quite an interesting start to this discussion. I'm sure our people. I've been watching the comments in the live, and you know, it is very interesting that we are the responses are very interesting indeed. Very interesting. Our people have been sharing some very interesting comments, and I will put them on the screen as we move from time to time. Let me welcome all our friends who are watching us from all over the world, wherever you are. Yes, my brother, it is quite interesting, and I think the entire region, the Americas as we know it, Central America, in as much as we have been cast into an area of total control as we see under corporate governance. However, the people of the region, having had the experiences we've had over many years, and if I should take it to the community level, where ma stand down the bottom plant yam, he send his yam up top to Mr. D. Mr. D raised cows, he send up a leg down to give Mas Peter. Mas Peter grow potatoes, he send up a bucket of potato up top for Miss Peggy. Huh? Miss Peggy raised chicken, she kill a chicken and send it down the bottom to Uncle Roy. Yeah? This is the kind of integration we had in the community, even at the community level. You look at what has been happening among countries, as you mentioned earlier. The boats normally come over. You could look out for the boat from Dominica, for example, over here in the Virgin Islands. You could look out for stuff from Jamaica over so, and stuff from over so, and that's the kind of integration. Do we still have that happening, or have we have we discarded that for the what you call the cheap food coming out of places like China and other parts of Europe and the United States? What are you seeing?
Well, you see, I think that's part of the issue, except that there's no balance. For instance, we stopped producing, we just imported, but we also likewise stopped exporting. So therefore, we're only the velocity of our dollars is such that it's leaving us, and it's we're not going to stop multinationalism. We're not going to stop that movement, but the equation needs to be maintained where we are also exporting equally in an equal fashion. But before we try to export places that are 3,000, 4,000 miles away, we have to maintain that import export one between ourselves to make sure that we have sufficient. Then we have to define where we have overcapacity, and then we have to define what the world needs. I mean, we have to in the Caribbean still produce a better price, a better product, better distribution systems. But we have to take ourselves seriously. We just can't be what we used to be, so to speak, where we're just a bystander. But I think that's where it might be said CARICOM has let down the Caribbean, because we've allowed ourselves to be a bystander. We have allowed other nations to take global positions while we look on. I happen to be listening to the budgetary discussion in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago here in November. And it was truly amazing to me the disdain members of parliament and the administrative staff was having towards this own people. I mean, the language they were using and in their speech was like it was unbelievable. So I was saying, that made me really reflect on what you were saying, how we moved into an area of ignorance almost. I mean, we have a lot to offer internally and a lot to offer within the external markets of our own communities. And I think that has to be built and not exploited, but we have to deliver those services in a clear way. Now, what the whole Caribbean have to be careful of is that we don't become almost an antagonist for each other, but being played to be such by outside forces. I think the Caribbean was expecting many of its Caribbean member nations and members of the CARICOM community really expected something more from CARICOM. I really believe they expected to have the respect that the oil producer nations are receiving in the global market. We have not demanded that same kind of posturing. We have made a variety of deals. It is said right now, for instance, some Caribbean countries have made some bad deals with the People's Republic of China, but actually, the People's Republic of China has a international plan which is called the Belt and Road Initiative, and if we as the Caribbean nations, we just have to become a partner, not an employee of any country, but become a partner in pressing forward and meeting the needs and the goals and meeting those for the peoples of our various island nations and the Caribbean as a whole. We truly need the Caribbean voice. So when it's spoken, it's a collective voice. That was the plan going back in the early 60s, 70s, even 80s, a plan of action. Right now, our brothers and sisters on the nation in the country, in the continent of Africa, of the 54 nations, that's their struggle right now. Their struggle right now is consolidation. Literally, the Caribbean, we should have been an example almost for our brothers and sisters on the continent of Africa, but we have no example to give them because we literally have given up our position. We could have been an example of island nations, of people of color collaborating and working together and building a strong, unified force. For instance, have you heard any leadership throughout the Caribbean discussing the open market, the African open market? It's not even discussed. Okay, your audio is I'm not having the audio.
It seems everybody's sleeping, my brother. I'm not sure what is going on. It seems everybody's sleeping. It is a concern, and you're spot on the button. No one is talking about nothing.
Well, and if we're talking about nothing, as you said.
No. I mean, you look at our governments, my brother. You look, and this is where many of us maybe think that our countries where we live are dependent on governments to lift them out of the state they're in, if that's the case, because it seems that most of these situations are generated intentionally, from what I'm seeing. Now, if it is that our governments, and of course with knowledge of the fact that they're not even there to manage the business of the people, but to ensure that the corporation is protected and nourished, and people now become the tax machine to generate money to make sure that all of these things are taken care of, then that's one matter. But to 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 think that our people have been sitting around for as long as we have been, waiting for something to happen. We have bright scholars around us who are, so if government is not functioning right, then it becomes our duty, it becomes our business to demand such functions, to protect the interest of our people. But again, no one is saying anything about these things. And when the day is done, within each space, people continue to scream and make up noise and holler and bawl, and government not doing this and that. And hey, we're now in 2022. And hey, the agenda is being rolled out. And hey, people are now sitting and wondering what the hell is going to happen, because everybody knows something is coming. They can't tell you what it is, but they know something is coming. My question is, where are we? Are we going to be sitting here and watching what is happening and pretend that it's not happening, and get a little blankie and watch TV and pretend all is good? That is all it is. You get a little food and that is it, until the supermarket shelves get empty. And when those get empty, everybody get alarmed and line up long from here to 2 miles down the road and can't get food and all kind of foolishness. Is this what we are waiting on? Or are we going to take a proactive approach to protect ourselves? This is my question.
Well, I think if you look at the existence of the public, the government itself, I mean, most every single government, irrespective of its behaviorally same, their underlying purpose, their reason for existence is for the health and welfare of the general public. That is generally their reason to exist, the health and welfare. But that also requires the public to let it be known what those things are, and the public to get involved in the business of governance, the business of self-determination. Matter of fact, that's the celebrate this Kwanzaa. The first 2 days of Kwanzaa, one is bread and unity, the next one is self-determination. And those are things that all of us have to be part of. We have to promote, encourage our young leaders, the leaders who have left and migrated to various parts of the world. We have to figure out mechanisms for them to come back with the great ideas and the thought processes you had, because we need to have those back.
But my brother, let me interrupt you for a minute. I'm having a problem with that, and I tell you what the problem I have is. Everybody's pocket nowadays is as long as hell. It's all about the money. Coming back is one thing, but the first question they'll ask you, coming back to what?
Okay.
Do you have a job for me to come back to?
No, well, you see, that's the point. You see, it's not coming back for a job. I think we have to get those creative minds to come back with the jobs, come back with creativity. We have to create venues. For instance, here we sit on the show of PSI right now. In the early days of the PSI, I was trying to figure out what we were bringing to the table, because I still don't fully understand, but I know you were speaking about self-determination and independence of a people, being prepared to independently manage what you have to survive in this coming age. Because something, like you just said, something is coming.
Yes.
exactly what is coming. We may not put our finger on it, but we have to be. So how do we prepare for whatever it is might be coming?
Yes.
So one way of preparation is that we have to realize that you are not the enemy and I'm not the enemy. So we have to figure out who our friends are right. When I'm saying who my friends are in a international scheme, in the geopolitics, my friends are in the Caribbean. My friends are on the continent of Africa. My friends are way over the diaspora. That's who my friends are. But then in a closer circle, my friends are the persons in my community, in my state, in my county, in my city. Then my friends are the persons in my neighborhood. And then my friends really are my sisters and brothers, right? So we have to get in a place where we are conversating on a regularized basis, where we are willing to confront stupidity. Like if my brother chooses to give me stupid information, I have to be willing to reason with him to say, let's reason together. Let me give you an example. I have family and friends who across the globe send me videos. I know you get those same videos.
Yes.
And you look at the video and you say, what? So I had to contact, and I called people up and said, listen, did you review the video before you send it to me? First of all, did you look at it yourself? Then I said, if you looked at it, you should send me a warning sign. Warning. This is garbage. Please make sure to delete immediately. And that might be a silly example. What I'm saying is we've invested a lot. You've invested in yourself personally. You've seen your parents invest in you. My parents invest in me. We invest in our children. But we have to still remind them, hence where we came from, the value that we bring to the whole table, to this big model.
Values don't work again, my beloved brother.
No, but you see,
this is our problem. It don't work again.
It's not it doesn't work again. Is that we have allowed ourselves to succumb to folly. We've allowed, because you remember the statement, we're the brave men. Who going to be the brave man to stand up and say, when we see some garbage, say it's garbage? I mean, is PSI TV going to be willing to see when they are trying to arrest maybe Dr. Rodriguez because I said something wrong, say, no, that was crazy? I mean, it might be that simple that a voice has to always rise up to say something is not right.
Yeah.
The minute you see that the powers to be start to try to control the media, that's the chance we have. Remember now, even though some persons are speaking crazy stuff, we have to get the crazies with the sensibles. But when the voices, if there's ever an opportunity to shut down your voice, to close down Brother Berg's voice, to close down Dr. Rodriguez's voice, to close down Kenny G's voice.
Yes.
If it is so important that you came on into this space, I think you came on in 2020 around summertime. When you came into this space, I believe am I correct in that?
Yes.
So, but you saw a void. And if you remember now, here's what interests me, because I reached out to you. Remember I said to you, I never heard somebody came on and speak to the whole notion of borners and belongers, and you spoke about it. Yes. Nobody said that. I mean, nobody would say it, but you said it. You says something's wrong with this. There's something wrong that when we begin to create schisms and voids between each other. This is the longest trick of the tricknologists. This is, I mean, and it's still being perpetuated. But you, for whatever reason, because the first piece I read from you was you discussed the notion of citizenship, who is who and what is what. That is a crucial conversation that needs to happen throughout, not just Tortola or Barbados or Guyana or Dominica or Haiti. That needs to go through the entire Caribbean.
I agree.
The entire Caribbean needs to reflect where we came from. Arabs, Arawaks, 17 million in ships, half of them below the sea, moved around. Do you know Guyana was and Grenada? Those were just capital ports to move around black people as slaves. The countries were seen as a collective group of countries where they moved the people groups around plantations. And I think our history has to be told. Our history has to be told in such a way that those persons who have been they're working hard for their families, for their kids, but they need to know that they are at least 15 countries belong to CARICOM, another 25 who are affiliates. That's where they came from. I can't trace myself back to the African continent, but I know this for sure, Kenny G. I came from the African continent, okay?
Yes.
And I know it wasn't an easy road, but look where we are today. You and I today are on potentially an audience of a global audience once someone has a phone with internet.
Yes,
now
indeed.
That's a big deal, and you recognize it's a big deal. And you saw something. You says, "I'm going to use this space to get some voices out, my voice out. Let us be heard." So we have to use what we have, the resource we have, to let the message be known. We have to let it be known in Guyana. What's happening in Guyana right now, Kenny G? ExxonMobil has decided that's the only ExxonMobil has retained a stronghold for oil and gas. They've shut down most places in Africa continent. They've shut down, except the only one place they're not shut down, Guyana. That's a big deal. Why they've not shut down Guyana? ExxonMobil is about to pour billions of dollars to try to transform itself into a different company. Hey guys, Guyana leadership, pay attention. Now, if they're going to be pouring $100 billion, let's get some equity for the people in Guyana. Let's get some equity. But someone has to. But we can't be running around New York trying to arrest someone for speaking against injustice. So somebody has to speak up.
The greater problem is this, my brother, and this is covertly so. With all the money that is being spent in these areas, the people continue to be the what you call them, they milk the people. This is how you have them cows, you back them up and you milk them. The people continue to be milked. Little benefits, little reward, little for the people. But these billion-dollar companies are spending the money to make sure that when the day is done, they continue to get the return with little given back to the people. It is in Guyana, it is in Jamaica, it is in the Virgin Islands, it is everywhere in the world. I don't know when we're going to get to a place where the people, as it was intended to be in the beginning, will become the focus. The focus. Make the money and help the people to have better lives, because they are the energy sources. If the people decide to listen, sir, if everybody decide to sit down in their house tomorrow morning, everything locked down,
Everything. So therefore, Kenny J, you just said it. The voices of the people has to be such that where we have that collective voice to get what? We need a better price. We need a better product. We need to collectively demonstrate the power. The greatest power all our countries have is that simple thing, the people. We the people. I mean, if you look at the preamble of every civilized nation and the democratic nation, it is founded on the notion of we the people for a better union. We the people for the health and welfare. We the people. So these same people, they go and vote, they bring leadership in, but it has to be clear that who they work for is we the people. Now, if those people who they brought into power is not doing that, I think we are sufficiently civilized that we can put in place the people at least who are willing to go after this type of change. Now, listen now. Take the Exxon. Yes. Do you know if ExxonMobil is pressured, not by the people in Guyana, but could you imagine if ExxonMobil is pressured by the people of the diaspora who knows what ExxonMobil is and say, hey, we just checked the books. What are you doing for the people of Guyana? You see, the voices of all the people, I think that's part of the work of the diaspora, is that the diaspora, primarily those in North America, in England, we may have to be the voice of reason for our brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, our brothers and sisters in the 54 countries on the African continent. We have learned, we have been through many things, so we may have to be that voice, not only to, hey, make that paycheck and be happy, beside our 60-foot lots, 8-foot fence, 2-car driveway, 2-story houses, and forget the rest of them, because that's what basically has happened. But we have to really realize we have to change that game.
Look here. Sean Marie, David, has made a very important point here. And we need to look at this very seriously. And I'm not sure how this is going to come across. But the only solution, she says, is for the people themselves to take matters into their own hands and help themselves. Now, if you remember where we're coming from as a people across the Americas, we don't even know who we are, because we are the Indians of the Americas. We have always been over centuries. We occupy these lands, and it remains so. We have been fooled to think that some of us come from Africa. I'm not sure where in Africa some of us come from. When our parents were born in the Americas, our parents' parents are born in the Americas, parents, and everybody we know in our lineage are from the Americas. Mm-hmm. Yes? But now everybody wants to go back to Africa, because when it is done, the brainwash us to think that the land that we live on is not ours, and we need to leave it and go back to Africa. Now, if anyone of my people listening to me tonight want to run off to Africa and leave your land, that's your heritage. Your navel string was buried there. Your navel string buried on the land that you're on, and you want to run left it go someplace that you're fool. And when the day is done, Etta is saying to me, when the day is done, and it is interesting that we're getting these comments from our people tonight. When we have gotten to a place where we have total knowledge of who we are, where we're going, what we are about, we must have a plan how we are going to get there, how we are going to achieve these things. And when the day is done, the fact that our rights have been abrogated in a way that we can't even relate to ourselves. We don't know who the hell we are. And this, my beloved brother, is our problem. We don't know who we are. We don't know who we are. And I think when the day is done, while we have good intention, speaking to our people tonight, in the way that we are speaking to with our people, from a learned point of view, I think our people need to get to the place where they make the decision that, listen, the life we need is the life we need to create for ourselves, and no one else can do that for us. Until we get there, as Etta is saying, enough is enough. We have to get to a place where we make it what we want it to be. The government is not going to make it happen, because they don't care about the people right now. It is not about people. While it is about people, it is not about people. And this might be a very funny way to put it. The entire shift is about people, but yet it is not about people. Strange, right?
But you know, the purpose of the reason people, any government, its purpose is to be the voice of the masses. And now, specifically in the age we live in right now, in the technology age we live in right now, we have to press for where the technology makes more sense and is able to be used by more persons. For instance, facts and information has to be able to come out. People have to be able to get facts, information, so they can make proper decisions. There must be a way with this technology we have right now where the technology can help in deciphering foolishness from common sense and things that are true, where you can decipher facts from fiction. Yes. Now, we have a tremendous challenge. And let me tell you, the world typically depended on the United States. About 5 years ago, the United States started, there was a conversation where it was stated, and here you may remember the statement that everything that is a fact is not really a fact, but there could be truth, could be a lie, or it could be truth. If you remember, the definition of truisms will begin changing about 5 years ago. Persons can say, so if you say a lie enough times, then someone will call it the truth. Then people will discuss in lies and see if it made sense. So, I mean, in a short period of time, the whole earth has been kind of thrown upside down in trying to rationalize what makes sense from not. And I think this is the time when we have to almost call back, not way back to our ancestors from the motherland, but our parents and our grandparents, because we used to know the truth is a simple thing. It's either true or false. There wasn't any gray spaces, but there's been so many gray spaces put out upon us in a short period of time. I mean, it took decades, it took centuries for us to come to a certain place. And over 5 years of time, we've undone it all. So right now, we are going through a catalytic change of readjusting to know what you just said. Who are we? Who are we? And what are we about? And and it's going to take work, but it's going to take enough of us and enough voices to be willing to say, if they hear the standard and say, no, that's not what it is. And remember now, when you start speaking truth, you're going to probably be told you're not right, because it's a challenge right now. It's a challenge in front of us right now, Kenny G, like we've never seen before.
My brother, listen, sir. Etta has it right, you know. She said we have thrown away our heritage for a few greenie. And this is the problem, my brother. You look at how our governments are going right now. Hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars are being spent across the Americas as we speak for everything else except the development of our people. Hundreds of millions, if not billions of dollars are currently being spent, and our people are still hungry as hell. Hungry. The school system right now is a pile of crap. Just forget you even have school, because there's no school. It's a waste of time right now. School is a waste of time. Parents need to start teaching their children at home, because school is not working anymore. And take it from Kenny G, as I tell you tonight. School ain't working anymore. We have to begin to teach our children at home. That's number one. Number two, if we don't learn to come together to save our behinds, we are going to fry in the heat. I'm talking raw truth tonight. We must come together to save our behind us. We're going to fry. Listen to me, my people. This is not a game that we should take lightly, because when the day is done, it is not going to be business as usual moving forward. And I'm just saying this in a very simple way. When the day is done, it is either you're going to be human or you're going to make up your mind to be subhuman. It is simply what it is. And that is a decision that you will have to make. But when the day is over, what will be your decision moving forward? Will you be dependent on the people who feed you, or are you going to set up something to feed yourself? What are you going to do? Nothing. If you notice, I don't tell people what to do, you know. I'm asking questions, because we're all mature people. These are decisions we will have to face, and we will have to come up with some answers in the shortest future. Back with you in a minute.
You have been watching the latest development, and you seem to be very unsure of what to do next. You know something is about to happen, but again, you simply keep watching without a clue as to what to do next. Wake up, my brothers and sisters. You must move now to save yourselves. You must move now to prepare yourselves for the peril ahead. To delay is to open yourself to serious trouble, and there will be no one to blame but you. Lifeline Financial Programs has always been telling you that things will get very serious very quickly if you do not move now to prepare for what is coming. Nothing will get better. We are on a downhill ride. You must get up and move now to save yourself. It is predicted that you will be having serious financial problems soon. Will you sit and wait until everything has crashed, then say, "If I had known"? Find us today at Lifeline Financial Programs. We have the best plans to keep you alive during the trying times ahead. Mark my word. Don't wait until everything has fallen apart and you are running around like a chicken without a head. Find us at Lifeline Financial Programs today. We will help you find a way. Call us at 540-4555 or email us at lifelinebvlimited@gmail.com.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Greetings, and let me welcome you all back to the another episode of The Raw Truth. And of course, to all our friends across the world, wherever you're watching us from, we thank you so much for joining us. A very busy chat this evening. A very busy communication is happening here. And I love the fact that our people are sharing with us as we conduct this discussion. Very good that we're all involved at this level, and of course, keep it coming. We want you to share with us as well. We will get to a point where I think our people need to be able to call in and share your thoughts. If you wish to call in, please feel free to call us at the number on your screen. I'm sure that some of us may want to share some thoughts as well, rather than just text. If you feel if you feel you want to share with us, feel free to call. It would be absolutely amazing if you can call in and share your thoughts. We want to break away from the regular situation, the regular thing as we had it up to now. I mean, when the day is done, you also have a voice, my people. It's time for you to share as well. Feel free to call and share with us. All right. We have with us our good friend, Dr. Anthony Rodrigues. He's a very interesting guest, and he's a very accomplished gentleman. Can you tell us a little about what you've been doing on the back end, my brother? I think our viewers might need to know a little bit about you, where you've been, and what you have been doing, and all that.
Well, Kenny G, thank you for asking, Kenny G. I am born in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, where's my island home. I have had came to the Americas as a teenager, and I actually loved America when I came. But I told you, Kenny G, when my eyes were open to the reality of our peoples is when I went back to Trinidad and Tobago, 14 years old. And I never knew that there were racists and racism in Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, I guess I grew up in such a sheltered environment. I came to find out that persons like myself, being a black man and truly black, that were discriminated against. I didn't know that I couldn't work in a bank if I wanted to. I mean, those things shocked me, Kenny G. So when I came back to America, I literally wrote a letter to Dr. Eric Williams, and I said to him, I didn't know these things. I used to tell people in America, we live in a country of all liberty, and everybody were one, and we were all in unity. And Dr. Eric Williams, I literally have that letters in the archives of my school. He says, well, young man, if you believe this, you need to get your education and come on back and do something about it. And Kenny, I have tried my best to go back and do something about it, most unsuccessfully. At many occasions, I've tried to go back, but instead, what I did, I became a professor here in the United States. I got my PhD. I became by the providence of God, I became a city planner. I'm a master planner. I now work in the environment of the archives of one of the prolific civil rights leaders of Mickey Leland. I am the curator of his archives at Texas Southern University, where I helped to promote his vision of removing world hunger and creating world peace. Mm-hmm. And that's what I've been doing, Kenny G. But I also what I've been doing is watching, and not waiting, but watching primarily, as is said by Langston Hughes, as an au fait watcher, where you watch and you analyze and you see if you can predict what's the next step. And I think what we have been seeing, I've been blessed to meet people like yourself, and I see some of my friends might be listening, Dr. Shadrach Gaius from Haiti, persons I have met by chance and who we've become very closely involved in this same global vision. And one firm, Kenny G, that we all recognize, at least the friends I've been meeting, is the ingredient that will cause us to be victorious at some point, or even in our current time, is that being unified.
Right.
having a unified purpose, having a unified mission, having a unified vision. And if that unity only means to see those who have not can be moved from being have not, if that's our only vision is to see some degree of equity, if we can see that, I think we can accomplish great things, Kenny G. Kenny G, my new operating motive mantra for the past 4 years has been the Latin statement, prenum non nocere.
Mm-hmm.
And that has permeated me. And all that means is, after all, do no harm. So, Kenny G, I measure for my own personal space. If anything I do or I say, I measure it against the principle, it's never my intention to hurt. It's always my intention to lift up and to help. Now, so I go beyond the barrier of who you are, what you are. I'm looking to see how can I make positive change. So
Can I ask you something, sir? I'm sure you have read, maybe in part, the United Nations outline for what they call sustainable development. I'm sure.
absolutely, Kenny G.
So my question to you: how does your model of a sustainable neighborhood fit in with the current model of the United Nations as is being implemented as we speak?
Well,
Talk with
you
us.
see, I think the United Nations has a model, but I think the actual better model that's been written is what has been organized in the Caribbean. What the Caribbean has stated, because everyone has modeled themselves after the United Nations plan for the future. But
Yes.
if you go back, Kenny G, to 1970, there's a report called the Brundtland Report, came
Yes.
out in 1970. That report literally set the stage for everything we are seeing today. But what has happened, Kenny G, is that the smart countries, the great ones, let's call it, I mean, forgive me for using this facetious term, we have
Yes.
stepped back, done all we can do, become super rich, right? And now we are saying to all the other countries, okay, guys, let's be sustainable. But that's not going to work that way anymore, because you've already taken all the resources, taken everything, and now you're telling Haiti, okay, guys, you got to clean up your mess. Haiti hasn't created any mess. You're telling Jamaica, we haven't done that.
You take away the boot from the man and tell him to lift himself by his bootstrap.
Right.
Is that it?
So what we have to do, that's why we have to consolidate what we've had. You see, these great national plans or United Nations plans is almost forcing the CARICOM to say, hey, guys, take care of yourself better. You can't depend on us because we have already demonstrated to you we are not dependable. They've demonstrated we're not dependable. So we have to be, what is it called, Kenny G? Self-reliance, self-determination. But how would we figure these things out? We have to do assessments. We have to assess what do we have. We have to assess how much acres do we still have that belongs to us.
But again, sir, you see this. Listen, I have been doing a very detailed analysis of the treaties which were signed on behalf of the Indians of the Americas. The Great United States signed these treaties. The OAS, by virtue of its collective, or I should say, its integrated status. All the nations of the OAS are signatories to these treaties. The Americas belong to the Indians. It's our land. We, the people of the Americas, own the lands of the Americas. But the whole point is, we have come to a place where if we are going to farm our land, if we are going to occupy our lands, if we are going to become anything on our lands, we now have to, it seems to me, because of our lack of knowledge of our status, we continue to seek permission to do what should come naturally to us, as it did for our ancestors. And when the day is done, we continue to sit on ourselves, not being able to move forward, to activate strategic plans, to develop and mobilize ourselves. And this is the problem, the lack of knowledge. So where do we go? While the scope for development is huge, absolutely critically significant, but knowledge of the fact is limited. How do our people, therefore, by virtue of this position, as is presented by the United Nations itself, by the United States itself, and the OAS and all such nations through these treaties, I think it remains a mystery, maybe to many people, because no one is talking about it. And when the day is done, our people continue to suffer because of their lack of knowledge. When are we going to get to the place where we read these treaties for ourselves, come to grips with the magnitude of the capacity that is lacking as a result of our own ignorance, and take steps to act in a way that we can actually restore our heritage in a way that our offspring and our lineage after us can enjoy the life that was intended from the beginning. This is the question. Now, I have Miss Pemberton on the line, and I think it's interesting for me to bring her in here because talk to us, Miss P. Greetings.
Greetings. Good evening, Dr. Anthony.
Hello. I recognize that name.
I don't know if you need me to call your full name, Rodriguez, and good night, Mr. Kenichi. It's a blessing that you're on tonight, having this discussion on this topic. One thing I learned when I was growing up, and it was love the earth. Make the earth your friend.
Yes.
Love the earth. And I will start farming from a young age. How to farm, how to protect the seed and everything. And let the earth become our friends. That was taken away from the new generation because they had the fancy shoes and the fancy clothes. So nobody wants to get themselves dirty anymore. But without food, you can't survive.
Right.
And I'm applauding the gentleman, Dr. Anthony, again. When you hit my heart, Haiti, been there 6 times, and Haiti can't go hungry because they got food and plane.
You know what I need to do, my sister? I need to link up with Haiti. You know, I need somebody from Haiti on this program because I need to have a talk with my brothers and sisters out of Haiti to find out from them what is happening at this point. Little is said of Haiti. They're on the back end, the greatest nation in the greatest nation, the first to be emancipated of its kind. Yet little is said. We don't know what is happening there. That's crazy.
And they've been raped, and they're continuously being raped, and they're fed up. They had enough, and they take it to the street. Until they see change, they ain't backing down. That's what we need. Wow. The land belongs to us, not to the outsider. It belongs to the homers, those that were born there with the navel string buried in the banana tree, in the coconut branch. Yes. Wherever I used to bury it, I know mine were buried in some banana tree or something like that.
It sounds funny when we speak like this, but when the day is done, it's our lack of knowledge that is killing us. I think when the day is done, none of what we're talking about was taught in school. I'm not sure where the hell it went. No, our history teachers just went to school, regurgitated crap, and when the day is done, everybody left school thinking garbage, and that's what it is. This is what has been. And I think the time has come when we need to get to the place where our people dig, search, get the facts.
Well,
it's
everywhere. I came up
with
a brilliant idea, as you said. That's correct. And one of the ideas that I came up with, and I went to 2 or 3 of my government members, do outside farming.
Right.
Outsource your farming. If you have to send your people away to manage the location, buy the land, we don't have enough land. Our country don't have enough land to, sustain the amount of people that live in here right now. Outsource it. The government spending money, yes, they have to do the little bits and there.
But the problem I have, the problem I have, Miss P. Let me tell you the problem I have. Everybody now have PhD and master's degree and all kind of thing. Nobody now want to go in a ground and work plant food, sister. Maybe with the exception of this good gentleman I have on the line, everybody else too stush to go get to plant food. Nobody now want plant no food. That is a problem. And if you should go to the Minister of Agriculture in this country and talk to him about farming, what he tell is bulls, absolute bulls. They don't have a clue what it means to go in the garden, make land, reserve land to put food in it so the people can have sustainable food coming. Set up greenhouse. There was one here to tear it down. It don't make no sense to me. And these are the things we need to have practical discussions about, and no one is talking about it.
And that's what I'm saying.
When I talk like this now, I sound funny, but come on, we need to get real. It is either we are going to get real about what we're doing, structure ourselves moving forward to make sense to ourselves, or pack it up and go fish, show a line in the sea or something. When I talk like this, it sounds funny, but these are the things we need to have practical discussions about in a way that is going to make sense to us. To us.
Yes.
Yes. Well, welcome to the raw truth for those of you who are not accustomed to this kind
of
thing.
Because I had to, for the time we had a little hardship, I didn't cry. I went out my fishing line and I catch me some big mega fish. I catch me some shark. I catch me stingray. And I learned the technique and the art from my Haitian husband, how to pull in and let go and pull in and choke the fish off and bring it in. And these are some of the things that we need to be out there teaching the youth. Have a little program set up and just get everybody. You don't have to be on a boat. You could go on a shoreside. And if we don't get back to the root of our forefathers, I am not in trouble because I will jump easy fast. So we're going to be in some trouble.
Wow. My sister, thank you so much for sharing. It's an absolute pleasure having you. Love and peace. All the best for the new year, eh?
Same to you.
Okay, my sister. Yeah, that was Miss P. She shared her thoughts. And when the day is done, this is the kind of integration we need to build. We need to establish. We need to get back to the place where we integrate for development. It is not on the shoulders of government. I think governments are right now helpless, very helpless. The whole matter of the big C's is wreaking havoc all over the whole place. Everybody life mash up. Things locking the whole country, them locking down my honorable brother. And when it is done, if you're not careful, it seems it is designed to make people hungry, Brother Rodrigues. What is this?
Well, I actually think what you're seeing, in science, you have accidents may occur. I mean, the virus we're dealing with right now is truly, I firmly believe, it's an accident. But the problem we're having right now, the response to it from smart people wasn't smart.
Absolutely.
The one great nation that everyone else depended on, do you know, Brother Kenny G, had this great nation of the United States of America responded differently, we as a collective people everywhere wouldn't be in the position we're in right now. It's when smart people or good people decide to turn an eye and do stupid things, its impact and effect is tremendous. It opened the door for all sorts of things happening. I'm just going to give you an example, Kennedy, real quickly. Case in point. Do you remember the same virus we had called Ebola?
Yes, indeed. Absolutely.
Look at the response for Ebola and COVID-19. Couldn't you imagine if we responded to Ebola the way we responded to COVID-19? we wouldn't be here today. We probably more of us be off the
But
planet.
look at this, sir. But look at this. People beat up my friend Bill Gates for all kind of foolishness. Now, my friend Bill Gates tell us one thing, He said this injection is for technology. The man tell we know. He told us this is for technology. It is for whatever else and whatever else and whatever else. I took technology out of it because technically that is exactly where we are. It is the merger of AI with humanity. And as we move forward, as Bill, right, my friend Bill, tell us. Bill is my brother, him tell us. Him tell us that this thing is for technology and whatever else he said it is for. Now, the whole point is this. I don't even want to go down that road because when you look at the research, the latest research, it would literally flip you on your back and have you rolling over. Because it is absolutely, it is incredibly something that would just blow your mind when you understand the nature of this technological shift as we merge humanity with AI.
Well,
Yes?
let me share this. Listen.
It is absolutely crazy.
I just happen to know people in the space of AI and technology. These are people I know personally. I mean, the whole advent of artificial intelligence, the first major machine was called Watson. Watson was developed by a guy called James Cates, a brother from Oakland, California. It just so happened there's a next brother right now who is in the cusp of massive artificial intelligence, but it's called human interface intelligence. That is going to change many things. They say, but if we get sidetracked and off of being part of the game and still being a spectator of the game, we are going to be left behind. Right now, Kenny G, I think we as a people globally have an opportunity to really take our position and be a part of on the field, not on the sideline.
Indeed.
Now, absolutely. I saw one of your guests says that COVID is maybe to do this or a distraction. I personally believe, Kenny G, I think COVID-19 gave us an opportunity to slow it down, shut it down, and introspect. Look at who we are, what we are doing, and then come back out with a game plan of significant proportion to propel ourselves forward.
Yes.
We have to take this. We have been given, can you imagine? Look at this with Kenny G. There's an exam you have to take next week, okay? Say on the 17th of January, you have an exam. Yes. But something happens and they said, exam canceled for 2 years. You have 2 years to study now, Kenny G. Two more years that no one can go in front of you, but you were given 2 years to organize yourself.
Yes.
Kenny G, we have been given 2 years where literally we can organize ourselves in what we want to get done. It is so important that we don't get caught up in frivolities and foolishness, but instead use this time and think it through.
That is exactly the problem.
How do we want to come out on the other side? So when they say, okay, game over, give you an example in the political realm. In 2009, the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, there's a party that won the election under a simple term, cut the tax.
Yes.
The Republic of Trinidad and Tobago stopped paying property taxes for 11 years. 12 years. Yes. No property taxes were paid. Right now, this new government is trying to reinstate the property taxes. Kenji, I'm not a prophet, but I will tell you, this new government, they better do it correctly because they might find that they will get all replaced because nobody likes to pay taxes. It's necessary, but they're going to bring the taxes back. Matter of fact, this month, January, everybody who owns a piece of ground in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago have to report it for the purpose of paying taxes, right? What's going to happen to this new administration when the election comes up? You already know what the slogan is for the opposing party.
My brother, I told you, if you read the document, whatever that manifesto is, that document which tells you what the plans are, people will literally own nothing and be happy. Well, it is heading exactly there, my brother, and we need to wake up and smell the coffee.
Listen,
It is not a joke.
No, Kenny G, I tell my sisters and brothers, my
It's not
friends
a
and
joke.
relatives, I say to them, if one thing you can do, if you have to coordinate, collaborate, and organize with each other, own a piece of the marble, have a title, deed, or something that is yours, own a piece of the marble.
But brother, it is not sustainable.
No, but remember now, a piece of the marble is the dirt. You gotta own a piece of the dirt.
It is not sustainable, brother. You know that?
But listen, but at least if you have a chance of your survival, you better have something to work with. You better have some tools. You can't be going to say, Mr. Government, could you help me? We have to be prepared if we have to help ourselves. But again,
listen,
I still want to be. Mm-hmm.
My friend and your friend Bill's own up thousands of acres, brother. For them, that is sustainability. For us, it's not, brother.
Well, listen, I'm having a meeting tomorrow morning with a brother from one of the countries considering 1 million acres of farmland. That's the size of not a million acres. Yeah, 1 million acres. That's the size. That's the size of just a little smaller than Trinidad and Tobago, the entire country of Trinidad and Tobago for farmland.
Right
now, there are examples, Kenny G, of Black people who have figured out how to maintain and sustain. There are existing examples that we have to find these out. Remember, I said to you, we've been given 2 years to prepare for the exam, Kenny. Okay, the exam was coming, then we were given 2 years to do something. And listen now, the powers to be kind of realized that we weren't ready for it yet, and it looked like they're going to give us an extra few months to figure it out. Right now, the universities across America are saying, we're not going to open this spring. We're going to wait for a month. Most of them is going to be fine. They're going to shut down again this spring. I'm saying to you, metaphorically, Kenny, we've been given time. It's as though we've been given a time to say, it doesn't look like we're ready just yet. We have to take this time, reason with each other, look at what is in front of us, try to understand and organize, and we can't be lone rangers, Kenny. Lone range this is not time for lone rangers. I saw one of the guests use, two of the guests I saw in the comments use the word unity. We have to figure it out. What does it really mean? It doesn't mean if your complexion is a dark chocolate and mine is an almond chocolate, then I'm better than you. That stuff is not gonna work for us. We have to come to realization and say we are one. You know, I mean, just listen to some of the sounds of our countries, some of these independent sounds. I mean, they all speak of unity, one, standing together. Together we stand, divided we fall. I mean, we sing all this great stuff, but we have to actually decide we may have to do this great stuff. Our leaders may have to stop back and say, maybe we didn't make a good deal for the people of these different republics. Maybe we need to relook at these deals. Maybe we need to relook at these treaties we've signed. Maybe the only benefactor is my family or my leadership. I mean, I think it's time for us to relook at some of these things. Kenny G, you said something to me in written form. I wrote your piece when you described the disparity of people groups on the island in BVI. And I thought it was so profound that you said it. You said, this doesn't make sense, that we are separating each other by terms. Now, this is a new form of racism. We create a term, and based on the term we use, that means you are less than.
But this is exactly what, listen, sir. One of my concerns is the fact that we tend to be, and everybody's Christian. And this again is the other thing that really turns me off. We do everything in the name of Christianity. We hate everybody in the name of Christianity. We promote racism in the name of Christianity. We kill our people in the name of Christianity. And when the day is done, everybody a Christian. And we pray loud and shout big hallelujah and shama and mama and all the garbage that goes along with it, killing everybody else in the name of Christianity, as it was in the beginning. because it was on the same terms that our colonizers came into the region and killed people, take away their land and their gold and whatever else. Exactly the same thing. We are repeating it against our people. Rather than standing up to protect the rights of our people and help our people to grow and develop and become so we can all benefit, we destroy the prospects, disenfranchise our people, and when the day is over, we see him on cussing that things are falling apart. I'm going to take a short break and come right back, and when I come back, we're going to wrap up with the Honorable Doctor as we continue to keep you informed right here on the Raw Truth. We'll come back in a minute.
You have been watching the latest development, and you seem to be very unsure of what to do next. You know something is about to happen, but again, you simply keep watching without a clue as to what to do next. Wake up, my brothers and sisters. You must move now to save yourselves. You must move now to prepare yourselves for the peril ahead. To delay is to open yourself to serious trouble, and there will be no one to blame but you. Lifeline Financial Programs has always been telling you that things will get very serious very quickly if you do not move now to prepare for what is coming. Nothing will get better. We are on a downhill ride. You must get up and move now to save yourself. It is predicted that you will be having serious financial problems soon. Will you sit and wait until everything has crashed then say, "If I had known"? Find us today at Lifeline Financial Programs. We have the best plans to keep you alive during the trying times ahead. Mark my word. Don't wait until everything has fallen apart and you are running around like a chicken without a head. Find us at Lifeline Financial Programs today. We will help you find a way. Call us at 540-4555 or email us at lifelinebvilimited@gmail.com.
Lifeline Financial Programs, the gateway to a better future.
Welcome back, and as we take the program down to the line, down to the wire, actually, we thank you so much for joining us, and for all our friends who have been actively communicating in our live feed, we thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us this evening. Every Monday evening, right here on the Raw Truth, PSI TV continues to share with you. As we bring some, we share some of our amazing guests with you from across the world. Tonight we have our amazing guest, Anthony Rodrigues, Dr. Rodrigues, I call him, the Honorable Rodrigues, because he has been serving in many capacities for as long as he has been, and a very respected soul. And we honor his contribution to the nations across the world as he continued to serve and to share in whatever way he can to help to develop our people across the Americas. My beloved brother, as we bring the curtains down tonight, what would you like to say to our people across the Americas as a point of awakening that you perhaps would like to impact tonight? Talk with us.
Well, Kenny G, thank you for the opportunity, first of all, that you called on me today to be here. It is truly appreciated. I have been searching for words which I could share to the persons within my realm of influence, words that can hopefully cause them not just to open their eyes, but to do something proactive and something for positive change, Kenny. We have seen over the recent years things that we've never seen before. We saw a man murdered on TV. We saw it, Kenny G. We saw George Floyd. Matter of fact, George Floyd went to school across the street from my university where I go to work on a regularized basis when I go. We saw him die on the TV screen, but we saw also, Kenny G, the entire population on the planet Earth to rise up and speak out. Now, this is not the first time that has happened. Someone has been senselessly murdered, but this was certainly the first time it moved. The entire planet was moved by it. And nothing happens by chance. Trust me, Kenny G. George Floyd would have preferred not to die that day. He didn't want to be a martyr for the world. He wanted to live that day, but he died. Okay? And the whole world saw something that was so egregious, so deadly wrong that they each had to say something. That resonates. But you know, Kenny G, it seems as though it wasn't enough to shake us as a people. That took place in May, I believe, of 25th of 2020. It wasn't 6 months later we heard of the first runs of the virus in Wuhan. Then in January, I know of doctors who were collecting supplies and PPEs to send to China. We only responded and said a word about the virus late January in the United States of America. Then in March, most of the country started to lock down. Once again, Kenny, we saw the entire planet being affected by something that moved us collectively to either do something or to see something is happening. And we have been in this limbo of reality going on into the second year. And then, Kenny G, we saw an election that took place in the United States of America that the loser refused to accept defeat. And there began a next spiraling of change that could possibly change the way all things work. Then we saw on January 6th, a coup d'etat. The first coup d'etat that took place on the planet Earth took place in the United States of America. And that coup d'etat has not stopped. It perpetuates still. So when we spoke earlier in our conversation, what is happening? The example that one might say, the great example of morality and democracy is shaken right now. So what do we have? Right now, Kenny G, we have opportunities. So just to say that remember you mentioned the smart people of the Caribbean, we have to rise up. We have to rise up and recognize our destiny that has been there before us. We have to rise up and claim our rightful position in this global community. And we have to speak sense to folly. We have a history, a tradition of greatness going back to the moment they brought us, and many of us, our peoples, came to this Americas. We have done and said and seen things that once again, we may have to show the example of what it is to be a free people, what it is to be a people who are concerned for the justice, for the rights, for the well-being of each other, Kenny G. And I'm hoping for my friends and my family, if you have been choosing not to be in connection with your neighbors, in connection with your sisters and brothers, I think this is the year you might want to take the opportunity to put things aside and connect back with the family, connect back with your kith and kin, friends and relatives. Make these connections back. Get to know your cousins and your aunties and get to know where they're from. Go and listen to their voices. Give them a chance to be heard. The ones who you looked as suspect, go and find out why they're as they are. Kenny, I really believe this is the time for us to really cooperate, consolidate, connect back with each other. I think we have to recognize that we are indeed connected and try to first connect, collaborate, and consolidate. So when this thing, whatever's happening, we can be leaning on each other to, something that came from our old person of old, Prime Minister Dr. Eric Williams. And it says, together we stand. And we need to be together right now. The symbol of CARICOM is a good symbol. Let's make it a reality. Let's connect with each other. Let's the Caribbean start showing the example and connecting. And Kenny, I want to say thank you to you for this broadcast. And I thank you for the emails and I see you in the WhatsApp. and I listen. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to share with you and your guests this evening. And I hope that you could reciprocate and join my show. Hopefully, in February the 17th, I have a guest, Dr. Shadrach Gaius from Haiti. We made a commitment about 3 years ago. We had a meeting with the Consul General of China, Consul General of Egypt, and they spoke of the China, the consul indicated their motive on the global planet was for domination. But they realized, and these were their words, that was an error. And they said, we have to now make an adjustment, and we have to understand all the people groups we work with, and we have to have what they call the win-win strategy. And we said that meeting, we need a triple win strategy. Now, a triple win means, Kenny, the governments realize it to collectively win, but the triple win involves the people on the ground that they win also. So we have to bring that into the conversation. The triple win, where the people, the members of the household, the kit and kin, the people on the ground, that they realize some of the benefits of these millions and billions that are flowing through everywhere. And that's why I like to share this evening, Kenny. I thank you for the opportunity.
My brother, it's an absolute honor having you, and this won't be your first time. As a matter of fact, however we can continue to integrate moving forward to the benefit of our people, it will be an absolute honor having you to share with us again. Peace. Keep it safe and strong, my brother. Whatever you do, take care of yourself. All right.
Thank you. One love.
And you shout all our people that side of town for us, and we keep it together. Okay.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Cool. A pleasure. Okay, Dr. Anthony Rodrigues, a very, an amazing, experienced gentleman. And of course, when the day is done, we continue to hook up with our people across the Americas as we continue to bring to you the facts, the experience, and the knowledge from our people across the world. To all our friends who have been with us this evening, we thank you so much for joining us. It's absolutely amazing having you. The show will never be what it is without you. We need you. We need you. If you're just joining us, please go to PSI TV live broadcast on YouTube and subscribe to the page. PSI TV live broadcast, that's on YouTube. Please go to that page and like the page, subscribe. Go to PSI. It's three of them. My brain is getting a little mixed right here. PSI TV on Facebook. That's what I'm trying to remember. Yes, PSI TV on Facebook. Please go there and like the page. And of course, if you go to LinkedIn, you will also find our page there as well. You could pull up Kenneth Gladstone on LinkedIn. You can like the page. And please stay connected as we continue to bring you some absolutely amazing presentations into the year 2022 and beyond. Whatever you do, take care of yourselves, and please share the live with your friends. Share. Let's keep the discussion going. And of course, if you have anything interesting you feel you need to share, to partake, to share with us, so we can at least share with your friends, please connect with us right here at this number. This is our number. Please call us there or send us a WhatsApp or whatever if you have an interesting story you'd like to share. Or if you would like to email us, please feel free to email us at rawtruthinfo@gmail.com. We'll be very happy to communicate with you. For those of us who wish to find a place where sane people are currently making arrangements to keep you alive, let me say it that way, because I think that is what it is. If you wish to be connected with sane people who know how to keep you alive, please email us at rawtruthinfo@gmail.com. And of course, we will communicate with you more in relation to your connection with the Oyata Nation. It becomes a very interesting matter that you connect with us. For those of you who wish to learn indigenous strategies so you can protect yourselves, especially at this point in time. It becomes an absolutely critically important matter that you connect with the Oyata Nation. I don't know about any other nation that is available around us or with us that is really at this point taking the interest of our people at heart the way the Oyata Nation is. Yeah, we have a lot of indigenous people, but I'm not sure who is really reaching out to our people in a way that is going to make sense to help them to restore their original status quo. This is it's very sad, but this is our reality. Feel free to email us, and we will be very happy to communicate with you as we position you to restore your original heritage. Peace to all, and of course, next Monday evening, right here on the Raw Truth. Feel free to connect with us again and share this with your friends. Tell your friends about it as we continue to share with you right here on PSI TV as we talk with our people across the Americas. Peace as we continue to love and lift you up right here on PSI TV. All the best until we catch up a little later. All the best to you.
It is that fundamental belief, I am my brother's keeper, I am my sister's keeper, that makes this country work.
Whoa, whoa, yeah. Some people are divided by religion, yeah. Oh, yeah. Some people are divided by their greed, yeah. Some people are divided by deception, yeah. Oh, yeah. Some have a lot of money but still in need, yeah. The time has come to help your hurting brother. Time has come to think about your sister. Can't turn a blind eye to their need, yeah. Share some love to help your hurting brother. Share some love to help your fallen sister. One God, one faith, one destiny, yeah. It's time for unity, yeah. Deception is tumbling down, live in unity, yeah, yeah. Division must be broken down, unite in dignity, yeah. United under God we stand. Unity is power for all.